We're going to look at Shiff, a Democrat, and his view on the hacking at the DNC and other hacking. And he believes that Putin was behind it. And Tucker Carlson is the interviewer.
Problem. But no one contests that those emails were real and the information in them was true.
He looks at him in the face. He's got stress marks. His right here from his eyebrows being brought down in that you're not going to push me off the facts. You're not going to push me off. A lot of interviewers I've noticed, especially when it comes to the Democratic side, they will, if they're asking a hard question, they'll waver in and out of their eye contact to avoid the confrontation that the Democrats tend to give. Democrats employ bully techniques, and when you're a known bully, you want to be in a submissive state to a bully so that you're not attacked. This interviewer, on the other hand, lets it know right off the bat, you are not going to push me, and I am not going to back down.
True, and voters got to see that, and it helped them assess how they wanted to vote. Why is that bad? Are you really arguing against more information for voters?
And are you really arguing in favor of a foreign adversarial party hacking into the American...
Of course not.
So he made it clear, I'm not going to be pushed off, and you're not going to bully me. And this individual, Shiff, decided to, well, I'm going to attack you, and you're going to find out why you're not going to challenge me.
I'm explicitly not. I'm just saying that once information comes into the...
And of course, unfortunately for him, he went into the look-down phase of this argument.
Public view, then why is that bad?
Then if we're in agreement...
Comes back with, why is that bad? And looks at him while he says it. But he does it in that soft male voice.
That we shouldn't tolerate foreign countries interfering in our election, hacking and dumping of information, then we shouldn't condone it in any way. Now, are you saying that that we're going to look the other way and we're going to ignore Russian interference because...
He opens his eyeballs really wide. I mean, they're wide to begin with, but did you notice that for that short little... See if we can get that. Watch how wide his eyes go for a little bit.
We're going to ignore
there it goes.
Russian interference because they brought to light facts
that wide-eyed. Not the doe eyes, but the wide-eyed. You're going to ignore? Like, how dare you ignore Russian interference? Oh my gosh. It's just unthinkable to him. I mean, it really is. That's what that is. It really is unthinkable. Why would you ignore Russian interference? Why would you do that? That is so going against the norm. Which will go into this man's mentality. Does he believe, literally, that Russians interfered with our political process? And that is why he is so adamant in having this argument with Mr. Carlson. So let's look at his belief system.
were helpful to one candidate or hurtful to the other or of public interest.
Now we sit there and we're looking at his body, and his head and his shoulders and his core are all in agreement with him. He believes this. Why he believes this? Well, that's speculation. But he believes that the Russians are involved. How he reacts to Carlson with an opposing view, if he throws out the opposing view facts. And real quickly, when I sit there and say belief system and facts, and you know, those are your facts, as if they're not facts. In the world we live in, reality is relative to the situation you're in. To the fish, everything is wet, and to me, everything is dry. And the fish will present facts on why everything is wet, and I will present facts on why everything is dry. Obviously, I hope you can see where I'm going with this. Facts are relative to your reality. You just need to discern between the two on why others think the way they do, and give them the benefit of the doubt on why they think they do.
The voters had a chance to evaluate that. They made their decision. But if we're going to protect ourselves from further Russian meddling in the future, we're going to have to call them out on it. We're going to have to inform the American people about it. And Donald Trump may have been the beneficiary, and I think he certainly was, of the Russian meddling this time. But when President-elect Trump has to cross Putin, as invariably he will, because Putin is not our friend. The President-elect may think Putin is our friend, but he's not. Then he may be the subject of the same interference.
Nobody's for hacking. Let me just make one clear point. You don't know that Vladimir Putin was behind those hacks.
Well, we do know this, and I can say this.
But you don't know that, so let's not pretend that you do.
Well, let's not ignore what the Secretary of Homeland Security and the Director of National Intelligence said publicly. Which
We saw Carlson. Let's go back and look. That part.
Beneficiary, and I think he certainly was, of the Russian meddling this time. But when President-elect Trump has to cross Putin, as invariably he will, because Putin is not our friend. The President-elect may think Putin is our friend, but he's not. Then he may be the subject of the same interference.
Nobody's for hacking. Let me just make one clear point. You don't know that Vladimir Putin was.
He didn't look up at him. Well, I get it. No, nobody's for hacking. He didn't look up at him on that one because he didn't want to encourage the battle. It was like, all right, I'm gonna submit to that because I want to move on, and then looks directly up at him for the next part.
Behind those hacks.
Well, we do know this, and I can say this.
But you don't know that, so let's not pretend that you do.
Well, let's not ignore what the Secretary of Homeland Security and the Director of National Intelligence said publicly, which is that these hacks were of such seriousness they could not have taken place without the approval at the highest levels of the Kremlin.
That's speculation, and we've seen a lot. Well, it is speculation.
He's not looking at him. Oh, Mr. Carlson, you would be a great interviewer when it comes to this mentality if you would look at them. And I don't mean a stare down look. He looks down entirely way too often.
Not speculation. You can only say speculation.
Statement of fact?
It is a statement of the intelligence community's.
Okay, so now we're looking at, remember, the belief system. Facts based on your own reality. He's taking those statements from the intelligence community as hardcore facts. Even though Carlson pointed out, so it's speculation. Well, he can't say that. Carlson's making him think. And he's got to go back to where his core is, which is the government's always right. No one lies to me. And the agency are saying this, so it has to be. And he's so relaxed in it. And he moves so well with it. And just FYIs, there was a time in history where scholars, the authority on all things, said the world was flat.
Best assessment,
okay.
and
but
you can quarrel with that because there's a political reason to do it. But this is what the intelligence professionals are.
I say so he throws it into the political arena. You're going to do it because there's a political reason to do it. People who have strong minds, and I mean strong minds in the ability to think, generally don't employ the tactic of, well, you're doing that because of blah blah blah. Strong-minded people realize at this point that having this kind of argument is pointless. They realize already that this man lives in a belief system and he's not going to get out of it unless it is of his own free will. Weak mind. Weak mind.
Well, they've told us a lot. You know, I've lived here a long time. I remember vividly the massive stockpiles of WMD in Iraq, which the intelligence community assured us were there, and they weren't. So, pardon me for my skepticism. I think it's a patriotic position. But let me just say this. We know...
Tucker, let me just say this. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take
I've been following, but here's what I don't get. There's been a lot of hacking.
The Republican members of the Intelligence Committee.
But here we've had hacking
think this is in dispute.
of the Pentagon, the White House, the State Department, the CIA director's personal email.
Ask the Republican members. All right, well, we're done because we're starting to get into the words. And I like to do the body language only. And this is, the words is, just more belief system. Kudos to Mr. Carlson for not backing down. And kudos to Mr. Shiff for holding on to his belief system. If you liked it, like it. If you like the content, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.